Tonight, the ancient halls of Windsor Castle once again played host to a scene that combined royal tradition with global politics. US President Donald Trump, on his unprecedented second state visit to Britain, attended a grand state banquet in the company of King Charles III, Queen Camilla, Princess Catherine, and an assembly of 160 distinguished guests. The arrival was steeped in symbolism. Trump entered alongside the British monarch, a carefully choreographed display meant to underline the depth of the Anglo-American alliance. The royal hosts, resplendent in formal attire, greeted their American counterparts with measured dignity, setting the tone for an evening designed to project unity. Cameras captured each step as the guests of honour crossed the threshold of Windsor's banquet hall, where chandeliers glittered, silver shone, and the long traditions of state ceremony were once again brought to life. First Lady Melania Trump entered with Queen Camilla, their presence a reminder of the quiet but powerful role played by spouses in diplomacy. Elegantly dressed and composed, the two women exchanged pleasantries before taking their seats, a tableau that underscored the human side of statecraft, where relationships matter as much as treaties. Following them, King Charles guided President Trump and Princess Catherine into the banquet room. The symbolism of that pairing, of Britain's future queen consort walking alongside the American president, was not lost on observers. It spoke to continuity, legacy, and the effort to maintain harmony despite political turbulence on both sides of the Atlantic. The banquet room itself stood as a character in this unfolding story. High ceilings and historic portraits framed the long dining tables, while royal footmen clad in ceremonial uniforms ensured every detail was perfect. For centuries, Windsor has been the stage for diplomacy conducted through pageantry, and tonight was no exception. The sheer scale of the occasion, 160 guests drawn from politics, finance, culture, and diplomacy, reflected the strategic weight of the gathering. In one subtle moment, cameras captured President Trump pulling out a chair for Princess Catherine. The gesture, unusual for a man often known for his brash demeanour, drew attention from both sides of the press. Small acts in the theatre of diplomacy can carry outsized meaning. Whether calculated or spontaneous, it became one of the images replayed and analysed far beyond the banquet walls. At the head table, Queen Camilla, Melania Trump and Princess Catherine sat together, embodying a new kind of soft diplomacy. Their presence side by side signalled both tradition and change, the enduring power of ceremonial women in royal settings, now blended with the international visibility of a US First Lady. But the true significance of the banquet lay not only in what the cameras revealed, but in what they did not. Behind the glittering silverware and polite applause, this evening carried undertones of pressing geopolitical urgency. The US and the UK face mounting challenges, a grinding war in Ukraine, escalating violence in Gaza, and economic uncertainty casting shadows over both nations. For King Charles, hosting this banquet meant balancing his constitutional neutrality with the symbolic role of representing national stability. For Trump, it was a platform, a way to project statesmanship abroad at a time when critics at home question his approach to foreign policy. History has shown that state banquets are never just dinners. Winston Churchill and Dwight Eisenhower once raised their glasses here as they strategized during World War II. Queen Elizabeth II dined with Ronald Reagan at Windsor in the 1980s, cementing the special relationship during the Cold War. Every gesture, every toast, every pairing at the table is designed to reinforce a message that Britain and America stand shoulder to shoulder, even in uncertain times. Reports from inside the banquet suggest that the toasts emphasized shared sacrifices, common values, and a vision of partnership extending into the future. Though the exact words remain closed to the public, tradition dictates that both the monarch and the guest of honour address the room, weaving together history, gratitude, and subtle political signalling. These moments, while steeped in ritual, often carry as much weight as formal summits. For Trump, the banquet offered an image of respect and acceptance. His critics may argue that his diplomacy is erratic, but scenes of him standing alongside the British monarch in Windsor's Great Hall will be used to bolster claims of international recognition and strength. For Charles, it was a chance to demonstrate that the monarchy remains relevant, not merely a relic of the past, but a living institution that still plays a part in global affairs. Yet beyond the grandeur, questions linger. Will the pomp and circumstance translate into tangible agreements on trade, defence and global strategy? Or will this remain, as some skeptics suggest, another carefully staged spectacle without policy consequence? For many observers, the evening highlighted the dual nature of diplomacy, the theatre of public ceremony masking the complexity of private negotiation. The banquet's guest list, though not fully disclosed, was said to include senior ministers, diplomats, and influential figures from the private sector. Around those tables, conversations flowed about markets, security, and the pressing crises of the day. Deals may not be signed over dessert, but relationships forged in such settings often pave the way for decisions made later in boardrooms and cabinet offices. Still, the imagery of the evening dominated headlines. Trump at Windsor, walking beside King Charles, sharing the spotlight with Catherine, seated between Melania and Camilla. These are the curated snapshots designed to endure, to be replayed on screens and archived in history books. They remind us that politics is not only about policy, but also about performance. As the night drew to a close, Windsor Castle resumed its quiet dignity, its halls once again echoing with the weight of history. For the royals, it was another chapter in a centuries-old duty. For President Trump, it was an opportunity to project authority and international stature. And for the watching world, it was a reminder that diplomacy is conducted not just in negotiating rooms, but also at candlelit tables beneath gilded ceilings. The Windsor Banquet of September 17, 2025 will be remembered not only for its pageantry, but for the questions it raised. Can the spectacle of tradition still shape the course of politics? And in a world of deep divisions and urgent crises, can a dinner in Windsor truly strengthen the bonds that leaders say endure?